Today, we're going to talk about your next autumnal read. Hello, we're back again with another video. If you're new here, I'm Alice. We talk about books, we do chats, waffles, vlogs, car vlogs, lifestyle, a little bit of everything. So if you're looking for someone to stick on in the background whilst you're making yourself a meal, tidying your room, doing that thing you've been putting on for the longest time, or you just want someone to listen to, then I'm Miguel. So consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free and you're under no obligation. You can unsubscribe, but go on, try it. Welcome on in to the family. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. So today we're going to be talking about what you're going to read in autumn. And I will tell you what you're going to read in autumn. You're going to read this book. It's been on your shelf for a while. You've been looking at it. You think it looks kind of long. You're not too sure when's the right moment. You haven't picked it up yet. Go and pick it up. Or if you've read it before, go and pick it up for your second read, third read, whatever. Because this is, for me, the ultimate autumnal vibe great book. I feel that I started reading it before autumn and I couldn't get into it, and as soon as it turned autumn I was like, I think this is the time. It's the time, people. This is a fantastic book. In my opinion, this is one of the books that you should read at least once in your life. Let's talk about it. So this book for me is without a doubt 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Now, I don't actually know if I spoke about this book before on my channel, but today this is solely focused on this book. At first, when I just started to read it, I will be honest, I did find it hard to get into. I was a bit like, wow, this sounds super smart. This is quite academic. But as soon as you kind of get through that first 50 pages, you kind of, okay, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and then you can't put it down. So it's really, really clever writing. It's just a bit of setup, a bit of getting to know everyone at the start, working out the vibe, and yeah, honestly, so glad I read this, because definitely one of the best books I've ever read, and that's a big statement. As we know, I do like a little bit of historical romance. Yes, we're going into dark romance now at the moment, but I also do really love to read other types of fiction, just a little bit of everything really, and I really enjoyed this. She said one more time for the people in the back. I really enjoyed this book. Let me read you the blurb. Under the influence of their charismatic classic professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, their lives are changed profoundly and forever. Dun. So it doesn't really give you much, but it gives you a very basic overview, and that is really all you need to know. I know it's very highly reviewed and revered, so jump on the train. Obviously it does have zero spice in it. I think there might be a little mention of the old spice, but it's not a spicy book in any way, shape or form. Very like matter of fact if it does mention it. Obviously it's part of the genre, it's not meant to be spicy, so definitely don't go in here looking for spice. This is going to be one of your more, I don't want to say it, but more profoundly changing reads. One of those books where you're like, oh wow, like I'm so glad I read that. That was so different. It's not like a, ooh, I'm just gonna sit here, read this book for a little giggle and tap my feet. Do you know what I mean? And whilst I'm a lover of both, I do think it's nice to have a balance. Obviously, if you find your genre and that's what you like, then you know, you just go for it. Full force, complete that. I myself, personally, I do like to spice up the genres. So obviously, at the moment, I'm reading a dark romance series, the Twisted series. So once I finish that, I will probably come out and switch to a different genre of book. I actually have 4 books on the go at the moment, which is wild. And I will talk to you about this in an upcoming video, but I don't think I've ever done that before, and we can talk all about those. But I think I'll definitely switch to a different genre for a bit, and then we'll see where it takes us. As I told you before, I'm still a little bit scared. We'll get there one day though. If asked, would I recommend this book? I said 1000% yes. If you'd asked me during the first few days of reading it, I probably would have been like, I don't know, it's okay. But as soon as I kind of got over that little bump, we were away. I also felt that way about the book Babel. I really struggled to get into Babel at first, but as soon as I was in it, I was invested, like couldn't put it down. It's the same kind of vibe, and I also think Babel is a really fantastic book. And also an autumnal vibe, so if you want another option then go and read Babel, because I really liked that one as well. That was really cool. We can talk about that one in another video too. This is the brightest star today that we've ever seen. This is the one that we're taking for the win. And this is the one that you need to read in the autumn. As you can see, I've got my collared shirt on. If we had got the winter clothes down, I would have my sweater vest on as well. Very much felt the need to dress academic, like dark academia, when I was reading this book. I feel like you might also feel that too. It really makes you feel part of the world, really makes you feel invited in. Should we read my review? What do you think? Alright then. Alright then, you've twisted my arm. This book, without a doubt, is 5 stars and a very profound read. I haven't attempted it yet. It took me 5 weeks to read this book, but that was a mixture of taking my time to get into it and had a really busy schedule, so I had to try and slot in reading when I could. I actually read it fast for how busy I was at that time. It also is a longer read because everything is really detailed and described really well, and we'll come back to that in a second. But it does feel meatier. Like, you do kind of sometimes feel like you're trudging along, but in the best way, if that makes sense. Like, you feel like you're gathering and you're really like getting it all built up, and just honestly fantastic work, Miss Donna. In every way, basically, this book was amazing. I said there was not one aspect that did not fulfill me. It was the perfect blend of dark academia, suspense, classicism, descriptions, and unpredictability. God, who am I when I'm writing this review? I feel like you can see the effect it's had on me, you know? Honestly, the best way I could describe this book is like a work of art. I know that's dramatic, I know, but it's true. It is true. All the characters were so beautifully orchestrated. Literally, this book has the most beautiful descriptions I've ever read in my life. Like, the descriptions in this book are something else. Like, I don't even know how to tell you without you reading it, but honestly, next level, otherworldly, out of this world. The tension was exactly perfect for me. It was just enough tension to kind of have something going on, but it didn't make you want to put it down and be like, oh, I don't want to read. Like, it was great. Perfect balance for the story. Even though it was definitely a longer read than most other books, I didn't necessarily feel at any point that the plot was dragging or there was things that were irrelevant or that I wouldn't have included. Like I said, it took a little bit of time to get into those first chapters just to understand the writing style, but as soon as I was in, that was it. Honestly, away. This is very deep, this next sentence, and very like, who do I think I am? But I really do believe it's true. So I said it felt like each word and phrase had been carefully constructed in order to have the most profound and accurate impact. It did everything it was intended to do, hit the mark every time, and it genuinely did feel, like I said, a work of art. That every word, every sentence had been so carefully and beautifully constructed. And like I said, the descriptions, it just was a really beautiful book. It generally was. It has sort of like Greek tragedy elements in there, which is fantastic. Something a little bit different to what I'm used to reading. I also really felt like the ending was exactly how it should be. It didn't disappoint me. I feel like usually you can get disappointed by the ending of a book. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil this for you, but I feel like it worked for the book, you know? So, I mean, that's the hardest part, isn't it? Finishing the book. This book was just basically perfect in every possible way. Like I said, she's the brightest star I've ever seen. So I wrote these thoughts down at 12:30 a.m. because I couldn't physically put it down. I started reading at 8 p.m. I think that day, and I genuinely just had to keep reading to the end. And those were just my initial thoughts. And you can see the impact that this book had, because writing at 12:30 in the night, when I'm a very big advocate that I am a morning person. I am a morning person. I go to bed at 9 p.m. every night. So I stayed up and I still managed to write that review. Like, that's crazy. Like I tell you, this stuff magic. I did say, so I may well add a reflection in the future, but I do feel like this book has changed me as a reader and changed me as a person. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but if you've read it or you're gonna read it, I think you know, it's just something you feel like, wow, I read that as a part of that, you know? Give it a go. The only thing I added to the review is that I just love this book so much and it's gone on my top of all time. We'll have to do that one day because I find it really hard to say when someone says, what's your favourite book? I'm like, I don't know. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do like a top a top 10 list. We'll do the finalists, because obviously my favourite book could also be a book that I haven't read yet. And I know that's not how it works, because it's like, what's your favourite book that you've read? But it just feels so limiting to choose one, you know? So maybe we'll do that. What do you think about that little top 10? So hopefully I have convinced you to read The Secret History. And if not, what are you still doing? Go and read it. I'm pretty sure you can get it off Amazon or in some bookshops, or you could probably get it secondhand as well. Or if someone you know has a copy, they can obviously lend it to you. I wish I could lend this to you. I think this is a book I want to go back and read, and I want to annotate in the book. I'm pretty sure I have the annotations written down on my... No, I definitely have my annotations written down on my notes section, which I've told you guys about before. So maybe we'll go through that in a future video, but I definitely would like to annotate, and I would like to annotate this copy because it's my first copy and I love this, and I'll probably like buy like a more professional copy in the future, but I just feel like it needs to be done. You know, it's got a little pink stain on it. It got a little bit wet at one point, but you know, she's been through a lot. We've been through a lot together. And yeah, please just go and read it. It's autumn now. We're over the summer romances. We're onto something perhaps a little bit more substantial and something a little bit more autumnal vibe. Like I said, Babel is also a fantastic option. Again, this is the hardcover, so it is kind of intimidating, but once you get into it, it's really great. And this also gives me a nice autumnal vibe as well. Go read this. Read this one first, and then this one. So do you want to know what's on my autumnal reading list? This is for those of you who stuck around, because you're real ones. My autumnal reads are going to be Fourth Wing. I know we're finally going to read it. Lord of the Rings, which I have already started on. Video coming soon. And also The Maze Runner. I don't know why these books are kind of screaming to me a bit of autumnal vibe, something I'd like to sit down. I don't know, for me it's funny because I feel like summer's like fun reading, and then autumn's like serious reading. Do you know what I mean? Then winter's like comfort reading, and spring's just kind of the start of summer. Do you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts, that's my vibes. I also got my October reads planned, which I have told you about before, and I'm excited for the Halloween month. I'm terrified also because my boyfriend and I go to the cinema every Wednesday, and now we've started seeing more horror film trailers because they all come out in October. And then, yeah, you'll have to wait and see what's around for the rest of the year. Well, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I convinced you to give this book a try. It was a really, really, really good book. And let me know if you've read it before in the comments, or let me know if you go and read it. But if it's on your shelf, go and pick it up. Start reading it and just give it a go, alright? Just give it a go. Like I said, I won't lie to you, it is hard at first, but once you get into it, you won't regret it. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Have you subscribed? Thank you very much. And as always, until the next one, I'll see you then. Bye! Channeling my dark academia. Personal hair's gonna grow.